Hello, everybody. Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the freaking sucky show. Hope you guys got something to drink because it's a long one out there. Going to be playing 10 to 15 minutes of Nadeshot pure clips out there in response to the recent kicking of a couple hundred Thieves Valorant members after just a few matches with the roster. Echoes is a pretty big focus here because the man, shifted his entire life, moved overseas here to America just to compete for 100 Thieves for about a month and, about 5 maps professionally with the team after being kicked alongside Baby J. At the point of me recording, both those players were not only replaced, but the debut of the new 100 Thieves matchup is underway, to which Nadeshot did take to stream a couple days back to even further explain. I first share with all of you guys his transparent 3 to 4 minute Twitter video. Alongside that, he has now further explained on Twitter what went down.
I really hope. I mean, I don't expect the broader esports ecosystem and all the people that, make up this community to know me very well. But for the people that watch my stream or been watching my videos, hopefully the years or however long you've spent with me is a reflection of the character that I have as a individual, not only professionally and personally. I don't want to send people away from the roster. I don't want to release individuals, when they're a part of 100 Thieves. It's like probably the least favorite part of my job. If I had to boil it down, it's probably the one thing that I hate the most, because I've been there before, man. I've experienced this shit myself firsthand. I'm not one of these fucking NBA owners that, there's nothing wrong with NBA owners. I know this isn't the NBA, but even other esports organizations, you've got a couple that are led by former players, a few actually, but many that aren't. And so my real world experience, man, I've been dropped from teams. I've had the rug pulled out from underneath me. I've gone through it when there was no money involved, So I've been there. I don't take pleasure in it. It's not something I ever want to do. But at the end of the day, you got to make progress. You need to evolve. You need to put the health of the team first and make decisions that will hopefully impact your success for the long term. And that's something we had to do. Now, for everybody that people love drama, I agree. I agree with that. But everybody has an opinion on our roster. Everybody's going to have their own thoughts and their own opinions. Like, there's no denying that. There's nothing I can do to help that. If anything, the fact that so many people have an opinion about our roster means that they're interested or they're entertained by, what we're doing over here in some way or another, which is a good thing. I always say all press is good press. But, when we have attention like this on us, I never want it to be about releasing players and bringing new players on. But here we are. So, listen, I know that a lot of these backseat GMs and a lot of the people that look at our roster, hindsight's 2020. A lot of you guys suggesting players that are a part of other teams that we could have signed in the past. This roster could have looked very different a few months ago. It really could have. And I'm not going to get into the details of that and talk about specific individuals and players, but a lot of people on Reddit and social media don't understand the time and effort that our program has invested in trying to source the right talent that fits with our roster the best. And I think a lot of people think that we're asleep at the wheel, but in any case, I don't believe that to be true. Obviously, I'm not in the weeds, coaching this team or making every single decision about who we should pick up and who we should release, but I have a very large impact on those decisions. And there was a lot of things that we did in the offseason and a lot of different roster compositions that just did not come to fruition. Like, I'll tell you this.
And I really got to stress here, I love this transparency. It comes the same week we saw Cloud9 for League of Legends drop LS out of nowhere. And if you guys are a fan of League of Legends and the LCS, you know just how big of a deal and how shocking of an outcome that truly was. And we didn't really see that kind of response from Cloud9. As of me recording, we have not really seen an explanation from LS either. It's a pretty big mystery out there. And a lot of times in esports, we don't get an owner like Nadeshot talking at length around these choices. It may not make you feel any better at the end of the day about the choices they did make, but it does make you at least come to some understanding of where 100 Thieves was at and where Nadeshot was at when he made the decision. He further goes on to elaborate some behind the scenes things, how it just was not going to be working. When he is told that something is not working, he will make the hard choice to hopefully have success for 100 Thieves in the future, no matter what that choice is. Even at one point saying he wants to win as much as he wants to effing breathe, which is a pretty freaking heavy line as he continues for another long rant.
I've told this to the players, man. I want nothing more in this world to have the best Valorant team in the entire world. I really do. The LCS championship last year was fucking incredible. You know, one of the best achievements, one of the greatest achievements that I've ever been a part of. It was something that said couldn't be done from an expansion team. Nobody thought 100 Thieves would ever do it. We did it. It's a proud day. Call of Duty before franchising, we won 2 majors in our first year. That was a proud year for us. Fortnite, we got some of the best players in the world still on our roster. Apex, hopefully, will improve over time. But Valorant specifically is the one game that I still want more. I want to win more than anything in this world in Valorant right now. And, you know, the entire situation with Steel and Nitro, him going back to CSGO, the players wanting to move away from Steel, people having, you know, difference of opinions. That was not fun for me. I did not enjoy that because here I'm thinking we have a really, really good team that can make some noise at these major events, and it just didn't pan out. And that's just esports, man. That's just how things happen. You know, not every roster that you put together is going to be destined to win championships. And that's something that you need to be at peace with. And over this offseason, we had like 3 or 4 months to try to put together the best damn team that we could possibly put together. And there are a lot of iterations of this roster that you guys will never see. You'll never know. And so when you bring up people like Cryo and Xander, it's like, why didn't you sign those guys? Why didn't you pick up Cryo and Xander? Those guys are fucking incredible players. I don't think anybody had any idea how good they would be. And I know this Xander guy said that there was an opportunity for us to sign them. Trust me, man. If I knew what was going to happen and how good those players would have been, it would have made an easier decision for us. I don't know how the roles would have panned out. You know, those are things like I can't sit here and make hypothetical promises that we would have pulled the trigger on those 2 players. Potential opportunities that we were pursuing that just did not pan out for many different reasons. Whether it was contracts, whether it was players coming over from CSGO that said they were going to, that didn't end up doing that. It was a culmination of a lot of things that just did not go our way. And then we were pleasantly surprised with the trials that we went through with Baby J and Eccles. I think the team had a lot of confidence. You know, I'm envious, really, of Valorant and the ability to trial players because you don't get that very often in Call of Duty back in the day, maybe, you know, 2012, 2013, when you had an opportunity to do those things. You get to scrim with players before you sign them. That was very helpful. It doesn't happen as much anymore across a lot of different games, but in Valorant, you get to trial players. And from everything that we saw and the options that we had, Baby J and Eccles seemed like they were the best fit for that team at the time. And you guys need to understand that you can only learn so much about each other in such a short period of time. And a lot of times, things that aren't going well or things that might not go well in the future, they don't peek their head through it and the light doesn't shine on those issues that you're going to have until the players settle in, get past the honeymoon phase, and really backs against the wall dealing with tough situations. And so it just wasn't going to work out. The team just didn't feel as if that lineup of players was going to be able to compete at the level that they want to compete at. So it's not an easy thing, man. It's not an easy job. And I'm not here looking for pity. I'm not trying to sound like a martyr, but I think people need to understand If you think you want 100 Thieves to win, and I don't mean this to sound selfish, I don't like using I don't like using me. I love the organization that we have built, not only the staff, the players, the coaches, our business employees, and most importantly, our community. But if you, the community, thinks that you want 100 Thieves to win, I promise you, and I'm going to look in the camera for this one, I promise you, there is not a single individual on this planet that wants this team and this organization to win more than I do. And that's the only time you're ever going to hear me sound selfish. At least, hopefully. You know, I got an ego. I can be an asshole sometimes. But I want to win more than I want to fucking breathe. And I know that's cliche, but I'm trying to convey the point. I want this team to succeed, and nothing is going to stop us in putting the right people together, no matter Valorant, League of Legends, Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite, to ensure that we have the best opportunity for that to happen. So that's all I wanted to say. I didn't even plan on talking about this, but you just have so many people on Twitter that they talk in absolutes. Everybody in this community talks in absolutes. Like, they know what happens behind the scenes. Like, they know what players we were talking to in the offseason. They know how the team was playing in scrims. I know everybody's entitled to an opinion, but, and at this point, you know, with some of the things that we've tripped over, I can understand why some people think that we don't know what we're doing. But I take a lot of pride in this organization and the things that we do publicly. And if you've been riding with us this long and you're still supporting today, just give us some time. I'm excited to see what happens with Bang and JC standing. We'll see what can happen. I know a lot of you guys say that it seemed too quick. Like, the complaint and the argument that it seemed too quick, 2 matches, and that was it. Pull the plug, 5 maps. I get how that looks from the outside looking in. I'm not oblivious to it. I'm not ignorant to it. I'm not going to deny how it seems. But what you don't see is the hours and hours and days and weeks of practice that we've had. And I'm giving feedback from not only our players, our coaches, our management, that this team, this lineup is not going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? Whether it's play style, whether it's personality, whether it's the approach to the game, whether it's how each individual gets along with each other, there's so many factors that play into why teams don't work. So, although it was a very untimely announcement and change, after losing 2 matches, the Cloud9 match being, you know, closer than it appeared, and the guard match, you know, we were very close to a 2-0. When I'm being told that this roster is not going to work, you have to make decisions, tough decisions. So it's just the way of the road, man. It's how these things go down. The 13-0 was the nail in the coffin. No, listen, the 13-0 was not the nail in the coffin. I was incredibly fucking pissed off when we lost 13-0. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I was livid. My blood pressure skyrocketed. I wanted to kill our head of esports, who is an incredible human being. I love that man to death, and I think he has done a phenomenal job for 100 Thieves. But my emotions run high. I'm a very emotional person. So my knee-jerk reaction was to be really fucking mad at our head of esports. How could this happen? And 2, just to tweet. I want people to know that I care. And maybe I shouldn't tweet the way that I do, but I'm an emotional person. I want this team to succeed. So there was no ramifications, though, for the players or the repercussions that I had for the players. I just want them to win. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this team. Just so happens that I'm part of the organization, but I'm a fan first in a lot of ways. At least when it comes to watching the matches. That's why you don't really see me do watch parties, dude. I did a watch party once with Cloud9, and I hated every second of it because I had to sit here and like take it on the chin. When in all actuality, when we're losing, I'm fucking living. I'm basically like punching walls. I'm a psychopath. But them losing 13-0, although I was incredibly upset and disappointed and frustrated, was not the reason why we sent the players on their way. Whether you believe that or not is up to you. It's your own prerogative. I'll let you do that decision making. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. But that was not why the trigger was pulled.
And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I think this probably appeased to a lot of the 100 Thieves fans out there. Like, this is why you probably are a fan of 100 Thieves, because you know when something dramatic and big happens, not the first time it's happened with roster changes in 100 Thieves, that if it gets very bad and it gets, obviously, even Nadeshot admits, like, we know how it looks, right? It looks pretty aggressive to make those choices in the middle of the event or qualifier as well. He realizes that, and we get at least a lengthy response on it. It also, obviously it's not going to right all of the wrongs. And of course you still feel gutted for people like Baby J and Eccles because they probably have a different side of the story. But it is nice to see Nadeshot at the very least explaining where he and 100 Thieves is coming from and making these abrupt changes for their Valorant roster. So what do y'all think about that? Nadeshot wants to win as much as he wants to breathe. And it seems he and 100 Thieves are willing to make any changes necessary in order to do that, even if they might seem wrong from a public eye, or they might seem crazy from a public eye as well. What do y'all think? Till next time, drink up. Okay, bye.